Welcome to the What's Our Verdict podcast. We fashion ourselves cinematic judge and jury. My name is JJ Crowder. I'm here with my co-hosts Mattson
I say, better read than dead.
and Alec Burgess.
Let's get it.
We appreciate you tuning in. Go ahead and hit that follow, subscribe, like, bell notification buttons. Keep up with all of our episodes. Help us grow the podcast too, and tell a friend about us. Tell a family member about us. Tell a Vietnam War vet about us, but please not one like Private Pile. Alec's enough crazy psychotic for all of us. We don't need another one. Whether he was tortured to that point or not, we don't need any more. It's week 2 of war movies, and we're really shifting gears here. We're
complete 180.
we went from very civilized war making to the not so civilized at all, and are doing this week Full Metal Jacket here on week 2. It was released July 10th, 1987. It was written and directed by Stanley Kubrick. It stars Matthew Modine, Arlie Ermey, Vincent D'Onofrio, Adam Baldwin, Dorian Harewood, Kevin Major Howard, Arliss Howard, Edo Ross, and John Terry. It's about a pragmatic U.S. Marine who observes the dehumanizing effects the Vietnam War has on his fellow recruits, from their brutal boot camp training to the bloody street fighting in Hue. Mattson, this one's your choice, buddy. Kick us off. Tell us why you chose it.
Ooh, it's a movie I've always wanted to watch. I'd seen, I don't know, first 15 minutes, 20 minutes, something like that. And I had the intention of watching it all the way through, but I don't remember. Life got in the way, never got to it. And even when I started watching this, I actually watched it the same day that we're recording this. I was like, wait, I know I've seen the beginning of this movie. And then I kept trying to remember, where haven't I seen this? And it was pretty easy to tell where the lines got blurred, because did not remember Private Pile doing what he decided to do. Definitely did not see that part. So it's just something that I heard a lot about this movie and just wanted to watch it. So I was like, well, this fits the billing of the theme of a wide open war movie. So why not pick this one? Having seen it all the way through, I would say I really enjoy the first hour of this movie. I think it's riveting cinema. The guy that plays the drill sergeant, I mean, I don't know if he made up some of those lines or who wrote those in for him. And I don't care if he made some up, he totally delivered them. And that guy has a second life as a drill sergeant. He should sign up for the Marines and go do that tomorrow. But like the barracks life and all that, really like that. I get the pivot in Vietnam and what they're trying to show. The intention of what this movie showed, I think, was spot on. I appreciated it. I just think the second half of the movie, the pacing was a little bit slower and just not as captivating as the first hour for me. So I feel like it trailed off a little bit, but I appreciated the narrative of what they were trying to show. And I think that core theme carried throughout. I just like the first half of the movie more than the second half.
Yeah. To let you know, unfortunately, Arlie Ermey died back in 2018, but Kubrick originally wrote a bunch of lines for him, but like he was so good at what he did and improvising it that Kubrick quit writing for it and just said, go. And that, so 90% of the shit that he says to those guys is improvised.
Wasn't he a drill instructor or drill sergeant as well beforehand? So
yeah,
he was just riffing on stuff he used to do.
Yeah. Yeah. And apparently he gave every single guy in that platoon nicknames. You just only hear about the main ones, but all of them had them at some point throughout the thing. And he only called them. He was wild. And I mean, you see a lot of drill sergeants in a lot of movies, but I think the ones that you see that and you think about it was either him or they were using him as their mold of what a drill sergeant should be. Because this is probably one of the most iconic performances in movie history especially when it comes to drill sergeants. Because geez, I could sit here and like, even before I watched this again. It's been years since I watched this movie, but like, there's shit that like we used to shout at each other as kids. Like when this first came out, like, I mean, he says some nasty ass shit, but man, we used to yell at each other, call each other private pile. Like if you did some dumb shit, like, are you stupid, private pile? Like that's like what we used to do. And then like, yeah, it was wild. This movie really stood out when I was a kid. Like this is one of those things that we snuck into the theater to see long before we could see rated R movies. And we were like, the fuck did I just watch? Because it's a dark ass movie. But yeah, this movie like is just as much as Gettysburg, but for very different reasons, a huge part of my teenage years. Because like I said, we snuck out and saw like replays of this like in the dollar theater and shit, because it was so popular they used to play it so all the time, and so we'd go sneak into it in the dollar theater, and yeah, it was great.
This movie did not hold back. I mean, there's a couple things could not stay in the air here, and I was like, ooh, haven't heard someone say that one in a while in a movie. And
yeah,
damn, I mean,
you could say some shit in 1987.
Like, even if you made a movie about that now, like they wouldn't dare do some of that stuff. Like, no, I mean, even the drill sergeant at the very beginning, he's rattling off racist names of different national, and I was like, I didn't even know some of those words. Yeah. Maybe they weren't. Maybe he just was that convincing.
Oh no, they are. Well, and in 1987, you could make a movie with that shit, because saying that shit wouldn't get you canceled or
sure
in trouble, unfortunately or fortunately. I don't know. It depends on your viewpoint, I guess. But
I'm not saying all that needs to be in cinema today. Like maybe a little bit of that should stay back then. But at the same time, like I like that this movie was just able to give you exactly probably what was said back then.
Oh, for sure.
That drill sergeant was contradictory because he was like, I don't see color. And then he proceeded to just berate every color known to me. And he was no respecter of persons. He gave everybody their stuff. I was like, well, like at the same time, you're kind of just calling out exactly what you said you weren't going to do. So like, all right.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's, if you prescribe to, look, I was never in the military, so I don't know truthfully, like what, I mean, I've heard stories, right, from different generations, but like, yeah, when you talk about boot camp, like their idea is to destroy you and rebuild you. Like that's sure as fuck what that would do. Like I couldn't like, and that's why I couldn't have ever been actually in the military. Cause even if it's not the same, like that whole like tearing, like I don't have that much. Me and authority can't do it. Like I would be like, what the fuck did you say? You better fucking shoot my ass because I'm about to beat your old ass. You know what I mean? Like I couldn't fucking do it. It's just, yeah, fucker in my face and shit. Couldn't do it. Nope. Thankfully, I only did ROTC. We're in high school. Like he could yell at our ass all the time, but he couldn't get in our faces and shit because we were high school kids. Like we were like 15, 16.
ROTC, get out of here, JJ.
That shit kicked my ass, man. It was fun though.
About that.
Yeah.
I'm watching American Sniper right now while I'm working out. I haven't gotten too far in it, but I got to the drill instructor part, and yeah, like, and he was in like the real stuff, like the SEALs stuff where I'm like, man, they really did some crazy things. This one was much more normal, but he was just so psychological. And I think that's what's so obviously interesting about the first hour of this movie is what happens with Private Pile, where he even gets berated, and then that the Joker helps him, but then the Joker obviously gives up as well. They have that scene in the bathroom saying, I think we're losing him, but he can just tell this kid is just kind of dumb and hasn't figured it out. But then like Pyle flips a switch and starts to figure it out. And because I hadn't seen it before, I'm like 99% sure he's going to go crazy. It just depends on when it happens. And man, I wasn't prepared for, I don't know what he ate that day that he acted that scene, but holy cow.
Dude, Vincent D'Onofrio has been wildly underrated until recently. Like when he did Daredevil on Netflix and he was, Kingpin, like that's where I think he became globally known. and like respected and appreciated. But like in a lot of circles, like since I saw this movie, like Vincent D'Onofrio has been one of my favorite. He's done a bunch. Like there was one where he played Robert Downey Jr.'s brother, and they were like, he was Robert Downey Jr.'s a lawyer, and his brother's like and Vincent D'Onofrio was an old baseball player that like his brother, he broke his arm. Anyway, he's great in that. Like there's a lot of things that D'Onofrio's done that I'm like, God, he's good. But he's never been like a lead. This was the closest to a lead he got, and he was only for the first half, and it was just him getting his ass ripped and chewed most of it, and then losing his shit at the end, which he does so, like that face he makes with like his hooded eyes and that shitty like smile, like God almighty, it's crazy. And he's creepy. And I love the twist. Like, so when you first meet him, like he's sitting there trying not to laugh the whole time, and he's getting his ass, you know what I mean? And then by the end, like he's cracked, and there's like nothing left of this dude, to the point where he just does it, you know, and poor old drill sergeant goes down, and then he takes it, and like it, yeah. But what a performance. Like that's, and I think to me, like that shift, they try to make Adam Baldwin kind of that way at the back half of the movie, the animal mother or whatever. Like they try to have him be that. And I love Adam Baldwin, don't get me wrong, but he's not Vincent D'Onofrio. And so he doesn't carry that scary, cracked, losing his shit as well as D'Onofrio did. And I think the movie suffers because we don't have D'Onofrio. Like I would love D'Onofrio to have been in the back half of the movie in some way, shape, or form in that war, because geez, that would have been a wild switch to flip and to see how that would play out. So I don't know, very interesting concepts. But I will say I'm with you. My problem with this movie is the split, because to me it feels like two different movies and with the same characters. And so it's hard for me. And they filmed it that way. Like they actually Kubrick filmed the Vietnam scenes, the second half of the film first, and then came back and filmed the first half in a different place and in a studio and whatnot. And so they're filmed differently and they feel different. And you can, to me, I don't like the second movie as much as I like the first. Because I'm supposed to be attached. The only character I'm attached to is Joker. And even when we see Cowboy again, I'm like, I don't really like Arliss Howard that much, so I'm not really attached to Cowboy. So by then I have nobody that I'm like rooting for like I am in the first half, because you meet these guys and you're rooting for them, you want them to be successful. The second half for me, I'm like, as long as Joker lives, I'm good. You know what I mean? Like I don't know. To me, it just doesn't work as well. There's not as much impact as there is in the first half of the movie. It's not a bad movie at the back half. It's just not, I don't find myself as tied to what's going on and the characters as much as I do in the first. Like I want everybody to be successful in the first one, which doesn't happen, but there you go. All right, Alec, I'll shut up for a minute. I'd love to hear what your thoughts are.
Oh, I'm kind of the same boat as you guys. I think Stanley Kubrick messed up, and he messed up by letting Lee Ermey go wild.
Yeah,
because he ruins the movie, and he ruins it in the best way possible.
Yeah,
because you have this front half where you get fucking amazing like bullshit. I didn't know they stacked shit that high. You're trying to squeeze an inch on me somewhere, bro.
Like stacked shit 5'9".
The first time I heard that, I just like spit up whatever I was eating because it's just hilarious.
That's fair.
And the movie just takes a free falling nosedive once you get to Vietnam. Like, at least for me, where I'm sure it's a marvelous movie, but it is such a come down from the beginning that it feels like absolute dog shit.
Yeah.
And so it's like you means Kubrick made a mistake in the fact that he, had this great opportunity with Lee Ermey and let him go wild, and it makes such an amazing movie. But then you cut it and you release an hour-long TV special. Like that's the problem. Is it's ruined from that point on, because anybody who talks Full Metal Jacket, not a single person mentions Vietnam.
Nope.
Ever.
Nope.
Never. Sure. It's Private Pile. It's Lee Ermey. It's the sock scene, right, where they just beating on sucks. Like every instance that's ever mentioned with this movie is in the first hour. Is in the first part of this movie where you have going through boot camp. There is never any mention of anything after that. And so I think Kubrick, like, probably had this great vision of what he's going to do. And it's almost like fumbled because Ermey kind of showed up and said, hey, I can actually do this better than you can because I've lived it, right? I've done it before. I know what I'm doing. And from that point on, Kubrick's just almost like a passenger trying to hold on and steer this in a direction to go. And it falls flat in many ways, but the problem is that the front half is so goddamn good.
Oh yeah.
I don't think Tay's seen it, and just for the first hour of the movie, we have to watch it. Like, baby, you just gotta experience just this guy just sounding off on people and just humiliating them. And like, I'm sure filming that if he was going off the cusp on some of this, like, if I was on the film crew, like, where did this guy come from? Like, what did he concoct last night in bed? Like, gee,
dude, I'd have ruined so many scenes because I'd have fucking broke so hard. Like I still like seriously when he's yelling at freaking Pyle and he's like, bullshit, I bet you could suck a golf ball through a hose. Like, dude, I can't even. I bet you're the kind of guy, fucking guy in the ass and won't even give him a reach around. God damn it. It's like, what?
But it's the way he says it too. Like, don't have even the courtesy to get. So it's not even coming up with it. It's saying it and then adding those little pieces in.
I want to know how many retakes they had to do when people did crack.
Dude, I would love to see the outtakes of that shit if Kubrick kept them. But like, man, they had to break so many times. Either that or they were so fucking afraid of the guy that they couldn't break. But like, I'm
going with option one.
Like, I am seriously, I imagine that the reason that D'Onofrio couldn't keep his shit together was real. Like, that's how I think about that. Like, the fact that he has that shit-eating grin and like Ermey just was like playing off of that, going, all right, fucker, if you're gonna keep giggling, I'll show your ass. I'm gonna make you fucking choke yourself on my hand. Like, what the fuck is that? But yeah, like, it's just like, god damn, it's so genius. Like, watching him just. But then the switch flips in that moment where Joker's helped him, right? And he's starting to get his shit together and he's doing like, he's really good at the rifle stuff. And then like, he's paying him compliments and shit until the donut scene. Fuck. Like, it's like, okay, now he's starting to get it. And you're like, okay, so he'll give compliments too if you get your shit together. But man, he just fucking tears that guy. It's a jelly donut. Oh, what a scene, man. What a scene. You eat it. They're paying for it. Oh God. What a scene. Yeah, I'm with you. Like, that's some of the best film in history in the first hour of this film.
I just like that they start with the hair cutting, they just get right into it. There isn't like we don't get backstories into these people's lives, or they throw you right into the barracks with them and you're just experiencing it. It's like you're almost standing there as it's happening, and it's great. Like, honestly, that performance, probably one of the best performances I've seen in cinema. Dude, like I said, he should have been a drill sergeant. Like, I think drill sergeants that watch it probably stole some of his material. Like, damn, I gotta step my game up.
Oh yeah.
I mean,
dude.
Woof. Said some of that. What would he have said about me, man? He would have had a lot of material on me.
Fucking bunch of redheaded shit, that's for sure.
Oh, he would have been all over me, dude.
Mattson, is your dad the name Matt? Lawrence of what? Arabia?
Private Leprechaun.
He's too fucking tall for that shit.
Yeah, that wouldn't have worked, but he would have had some stuff. Carpets match the drapes.
Yeah.
It said I'm so white it's like sperm, like my daddy's sperm never left my skin. Something weird like that, you know. You already know he's doing it.
Holy Jesus, what is that? What is that, Private Pyle? A jelly donut. God, it's so good. And the lines that came out of that, man. Like I said, we back in the early 90s when I had seen this movie, we were very not politically correct. And there was a lot of the lines that I won't say now that we used to holler at each other from that movie. Like, it's just this smorgasbord of wonderful insults that you can throw at your friends and go, fuck, I know what movie you're talking about. And then it just becomes this back and forth of like tearing into each other. Fuck, what a great performance. I think for me, one of the things that there's a scene that just really I get annoyed by, because I think they were trying to be funny and yet not funny at the same time, was when the two guys die and the one guy was getting ready to be out on the Section 8 or whatever from his, not because he was jerking off all the fucking time, like 10 times a day. Like,
he
that
got
whole
to the office and he jerked off there.
Yeah, like that whole scene when they're going around the circle and they're all staring at him. Like, I hate that scene. Like, it actually annoys me to the point that I was actually hitting my skip 10 seconds because I just don't feel like it feels like they were trying to, which is ironic because it was filmed first, but it was like they were trying to catch the magic that they had in the first half of the movie in the back half by doing something that was so twisted and having this conversation that was so fucked up. This guy that they served with for a while now, the two of them are dead and they're making jokes about his jerking off problem and whatnot. And I'm just like, I get what you're trying to do, but it just misses by a mile. Like, I don't look at these guys and go, what's wrong with you? I go, fuck, this is dumb. Like, what am I supposed to learn from this? Like, I get more from the shitty conversation when they're sitting outside the building and the one girl's like, hey, you got a girlfriend Vietnam, and like they're having like those weird conversations, or even like the hilarious shit where they're trying to, like, the Vietnamese hooker and the guy comes up and he's selling her and she won't take the black dude. Like, that shit was funny as fuck to me because it's twisted and it's weird. And then the fact that like the one guy, Animal Mother, was like, no, I'm first, motherfucker. And then like that whole, like, that shit is twisted and weird and funny to me in the sickest way possible. Whereas like that scene around, like, it just was like, I know what you're trying to do, and it just doesn't work.
I don't want seconds after your business is gross.
Hey man, you're out in Vietnam. You've been out there.
You're desperate. I know we're desperate.
Yeah. You take what you can get, sir, in that situation before you die. I just love, I do love like the negotiation.
Yeah,
$15 per man. What? $5. $10.
What was 15 back then was what did that have been now? Like a few hundred now?
$15?
Yeah, what would that be now? 87, like their 70s, 1970s versus now. What is
70
15?
bucks probably.
Yeah.
Yeah.
70, 75.
Yeah. Here, I'll tell you. 1970, $15 today would be $123.
Mm-hmm.
So if that was 1970, I don't remember what time they were out there. When was?
That's sizable.
So in when was Vietnam? 70.
Was it like late 60s into the 70s?
1955 to 1975. So let's say it started at the end. In 1975, it was $89.
Dang, Vietnam started that early. Jeez.
Yeah. Started the year my dad was born. That's wild.
My goodness.
And went until he was 20 years old. 20 years.
I can't even imagine it going with a war going that long today.
That's nuts, dude. I mean,
Jeez.
We were close in the war in Afghanistan, and like that was 20, almost 22, 20. It was a long ass time.
Not nearly as many people died though.
Well, sure. I mean, it's very different. War tactics are very different. I mean, if you think about it, I think the Civil War is the most highest body count in our country's war history, which is saying a lot, isn't it? Like but again, that's what war looks very different between the generational as you get modern weapons. And we don't even, as far as war goes, it's rare we even need bodies on the ground much unless it's special unit stuff, special forces stuff. And half time we don't even hear about that until it's over and done with. So if we hear about it at all. So yeah, war was. I think like when you think back, I mean, war's war, and it's gross and it's foul and it's a terrible thing, necessary or not in certain situations. But I think when you think about Vietnam, that's probably the worst when it comes to being like we just weren't, we weren't prepared for that. What it was like, Vietnam turned the tables on what we used to do to people, and like, yeah. Anyway, except for ourselves, we talk about the Civil War. That was the goofiest fucking. Hey, we just kicked the shit out of the British a handful of years ago, a couple decades ago.
We're bored.
Let's fight in the exact same way that they did when we kicked the shit out of it. But anyway, whatever.
Dude, yeah. One of the scenes in the second part of the movie that stuck out to me was the helicopter scene where that guy is just unloading, and you're just like, no, he's not. And then just like, wow. And then he says how many he killed. And then when he threw in the water buffalo, I was like, bro, like, all right, like, what are we doing? That was wild. But you're like, well, there for so long, and you just desensitize yourself to, you're just killing them, or either use them for prostitution or killing all of them. And like, that's all that they were. It's just, yeah, it's crazy. And that's what they did show, and like showed that well, is just how desensitized you get in war, and how you look at your enemy. And I didn't realize we were there for that long. I forgot. Like, geez, you definitely, especially those soldiers that are going to late 60s, early 70s, you're just like, what the hell am I doing here? What am I doing here?
Yeah, I mean, I can't imagine at the end of that war, like the last probably decade that we were there, like you have to be going, why am I even going here? Like this war is lost and nobody wants us to be here. And it's one that like you hear about, and like there's been a lot of movies made about the Vietnam War, but like that's one where most of the time soldiers, even today, come home, and I mean, most of us will thank them for their service and appreciate what they did. Because I mean, absolutely, I have a lot of friends that are military, and it's like I really appreciate that they're willing to do that for whatever reason they got into the military, whatnot. Like that, I appreciate that. But like, man, in Vietnam, they were coming home and people hated them for being there, and it's like, Jesus, like that to me is like, I have a hard time with that. Like when people blame the soldiers for what's going on in the war, like that's a struggle for me. And I'm not saying that these soldiers weren't doing very heinous and shitty things, but to have them come home and then to be berated and belittled and shit on for something that those that had never been there could never understand, like that's a hard pill to swallow for me. And again, I wasn't alive back then, but I've talked to my mom and dad who, they were kids, but they were like, it was wild the way that soldiers were treated, especially the later half of the war. And, you went through I think they went through like 4 presidents in that war or something like that. Like it's nuts, man. And each different president had a different take on how they were going to handle the war. And, none of them said we would ever increase, but then they always ended up increasing the numbers that were sent out there because they just couldn't swallow the fact that America can lose. It's just like wild. What a shitty fucking war.
It's also a tricky thing because this is like it's not very much a war that was in the forefront of what's happening.
Yeah.
While Vietnam is happening, you have the civil rights movement going on. You have, the fake moon landing going on. You have Nixon taking us off the gold standard. You have all these things that are going on that are, Watergate and everything that's kind of included there, taking up the forefront of this, of the news, so to speak. And
yeah,
Vietnam War is, exciting whenever they need to be exciting. And then it kind of goes back into the woodwork until it comes back again and makes headlines again. So it's a weird war as well, because it wasn't so much in the forefront where, World War II, it's on the front page of every newspaper all the time until it ends.
Yeah.
And so it's very much fought. It's almost like it's fought in the background.
Yeah.
Which makes it a tricky thing to follow or corroborate or even pay attention to for the entirety of it.
Sure. Well, and it adds to the fact, the length of that war adds to the ease with which you can forget that it's happening. I mean, I'm not going to lie. The guys, 20 years of the Afghanistan war, like there were times when I'd be like, oh, fuck, we still have a lot of shit going on over there. We have soldiers over there fighting every day. And I'm sitting here worrying about who won the Super Bowl this year, right? Like, so it's like I agree. Like, you think about World War III or II, World predicting the future.
Getting
World
ahead
War.
I was here, Jay.
Sorry, dude, my bad. That movie's next week. No, World War II. Like, we're in it, in the thick of it for 3 years ish, and then we're in it for 20 years, and you can only focus your attention on it every single day. Eventually it becomes white noise unless something happens, right? And then it's in the news cycle for 6 months, and then it's back to business as usual. So yeah, modern wars are wild. And technically, I think the Korean War was the first one that was considered the first modern war. But I mean, Vietnam was probably the first real, like, seriously massive amounts of artillery and things like that were happening. And then, we're marching through jungles and shit, getting just obliterated from the shadows. It's a crazy war. Talk hours about Vietnam, because that's a war that I'm just like, wow, what a shit show. But there it is. But this movie's crazy. Kubrick's a fucking sick fuck. If you've watched any of his other shit, like, there's something wrong with that dude in general. So doesn't surprise me that this movie comes out of that quacko's mind. And he makes great films, don't get me wrong. Like, his shit's good. But he's fucking cuckoo.
Correct. Yeah.
He's Gomer Pyle for sure. There's something wrong with his ass. And I don't know if he was created or he was just born that way, but something wrong with him. But he turned it into a lot of really good movies until the end. What was that one he did with Tom Cruise and Tom Cruise's wife that basically broke him up? Not really. I'm sure it was a lot more than that, but Eyes Wide Shut or some shit. If you ever watch that one, that's a fucking weird fucking movie. I don't recommend watching it. It's fucking shit's weird. But anyway, should we rate Full Metal Jacket?
Let's do it.
Let's
all right, Mattson.
do it.
Do it.
Ooh, having seen this all the way through, I'm going to give this movie a 3.5. Like we said, it feels like a split movie. I mean, I think many of our listeners have probably seen this movie. Haven't. I mean, just for the first hour alone, like, my goodness, like, you might leave your jaw on the floor, or your belly might be in aches because you've been laughing so much. Just for that, just go see it. But the second half trails off, like Jay just said. It really feels like two different movies, but it still gets the point across of what it's trying to tell overall, that the morality of war and how it wears on you and what it does to you as a human being. I think that translates throughout. But I mean, you're here for the drill sergeant performance, and that alone is worth watching this movie. I promise you. And if you haven't seen it in a while, like, geez, go watch it again. This is a movie I will watch again. Why it's not rated higher, I think it's just for the fact that it really trails off after that first hour in ways that aren't as exciting. But again, it's something that I will find myself watching again, and I need to add more of those insults to my friendship with these two co-hosts here. So
yeah, I can't wait to hear you say some of those. Yeah. Never mind. I'll stop. With that, it's my turn. I will go. I'm going to give this movie a 4. Look, I think this movie, if it kept the same feeling as the first hour, would have been off the charts 5. Like, but it does lose that magic in the back half. I will say that there are moments of greatness in the back half too. Like the scene, like the very end when they're trying to get through the sniper, like, that's crazy. Like, you can see how quickly something can go south when the leaders of the company, the unit, like, start going down, and people have to start moving up the ranks. And then it's easy for like Animal Mother to be like, nope, I'm doing what I'm doing, right? And like, so there are interesting parts to it, interesting enough for me not to overdock it, I think, in my opinion, but it's still not enough to give it a 5. So I'm going to give it a 4. I love it. I watch it for the first hour and then some little bits here and there. But yeah, I mean, there's nothing better than the drill sergeant. That first end part, you're just like, holy shit balls. And yeah, it's pretty nuts. But yeah, I like the movie. It's good. It's worth the watch. It's one of those like classic movies that, like, if you haven't seen it, go see it, because then you join the ranks of the people that have seen Full Metal Jacket, which is in my opinion, a lot, especially of us 80s and 90s kids. So anyway, worth the watch. Alec, bring us home, buddy.
I'm gonna be with Mattson on this one, 3.5. I'm actually curious now, and I probably will go do this sometime in the near future, is to watch it the way it was filmed. So watch the Vietnam scenes first, and then go back to boot camp and kind of get a backstory of where they went to. And I wonder if that would change the way I feel about it. Because coming off like you guys both said, coming off the first part of this movie is just a like free fall nosedive for me. And so then I get bored, or I'm pulled out of the movie by so much that there's almost nothing left to look forward to for the rest of it. So it feels like a chore to get through it. So I wonder if I put that part first and then watch the boot camp scenes at the end, if it changes it. I don't know, but 3.5 for me. This one is one where it's a lot of YouTube shorts can get you through the best part of this movie for me. So I mean, it's a tricky one. I'll sit down and watch it, but probably only the first bit. Unless we're doing it for the podcast or something like that.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah, 3.5 for me.
All right, Private Snowball. Also, the greatest fucking name ever. Just because he just got done saying, there is no racism here. Well, it's crazy. Yeah, like what a wild ass movie. Just the line, just because one more I was thinking about, like where he's looking at Pio and he's like, did your parents have other kids? I'm like, oh my god, I bet they regretted that decision because you're an ugly motherfucker. Some shit. Yeah, I love that. Like, he's such an asshole. Anyway, there it is. Week 2, Full Metal Jacket. We got a couple more weeks in war movies. Should be fun and interesting. Very different from this one. But yeah, here we go. So with that, Alec, tell everybody where they can find us.
Happy to, JJ. Like JJ said, week 2, big roller coaster. More stuff to come. There is, like I said last week, there is literally no pattern to this. It is all over the map. We had no rules, no parameters in place for war movies. It was just war movies, and we were cut loose. So special thanks to our patrons, Charles and Rich, for putting together a selection for us. Their fault, not mine again. So go blame them. But fantastic lineup that we have. Stick around for the rest of the month. Nothing makes sense. It's fantastic. Best place to get involved with the content is on Patreon at What's Our Virtual Reviews. Follow us there. You can get involved in the voting process to select movies that go in. Normally, we have a little bit more of a structure with our months of what we're gonna do. This month was great because it's wide open. War movies was the only parameter. So join us there. That's the best place to get our content. There's a lot of extras on there. We have something like 450, 500 extra videos up of behind the scenes content, special episodes, just us goofing off and calling each other idiots. It's fantastic. So that's the best place to be. Join us there. With that, I'll kick it back to the Titan of Terror, the wise hero of WAP, a JJ.
Yeah, I need a jelly donut.
Bavarian cream, please.
That's right. Yeah, thanks, Alec. Appreciate it. Go join us on Patreon. It's a lot of fun and goofy shit over there. And yeah, with that, as always, we appreciate you tuning in. We'll catch you on the next one.
Bye.
Hasta la vista, baby.
Cinemagic out.
Whoa!